Hi there, Leo. Welcome to your September 2023 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. That's you, the sun. I get the moon. The moon and the sun. Oh my. Okay. Okay, well, just taking these cards as they come. And if I had to just like talk about one specific area, I would probably say a love situation. I'm trying to think, well, I was trying to think if there's anything recently that kind of might have spurred this on. And we did have a full moon in Aquarius, which is your seventh house of committed partnership. So that may have been the catalyst for all of this and what is occurring here. So you can apply this to another area of life. For instance, if something happened at work where you feel like you had the wool pulled over your eyes. I mean, the seventh house can be, or maybe some of you had this full moon in your sixth house of work. And so you found out something that happened where you were deceived in some way. So I'm going to bring it up in terms of love, but you can apply it to your particular situation. So the Judgment card, it's very interesting how they depict it here. This is a new deck that I have called the Crystal Magic Tarot deck. And they have different crystals attached to each card that can be used to enhance what that card represents. So the Judgment card is a card of cause and effect, meaning that, some action that you might have taken in the past is producing a result right now. And I see that sideways 8. I guess I'm trying to think because this is actually number 20, but the sideways 8 is the symbol for eternity, which means that things are always happening. So there's always beginnings and endings. There's always that's what eternity is. And so that's why there's cause and effect in life. It's not just like, things aren't just dropping from the sky. There's always a reason for it. And the Judgment card is connected to Pluto, as I recall. So it can be this rebirth, this transformation that you are experiencing. Perhaps, if you look at the Judgment card as maybe you got divorced, and maybe that's what that full moon in the seventh house might have meant to you. Now you have this rebirth. You can reinvent yourself. You don't have to rely on another person to define you or, tell you what to do. You feel more free. You feel like you're free, whatever it means to you. So the Judgment card can be literally a judgment, but also this card can be about whether you perhaps didn't use proper judgment in the past. And how does that play out when you don't use judgment? Why don't you use judgment? For Leo, a lot of times I think lust gets in the way and you are physically attracted to someone and you throw the rest out the window. Maybe you do things prematurely and then you live to regret it. So that's a facet of judgment, is being able to take actions that support you rather than hurt you. In the past position, we have the Page of Cups, and this is a card of the, this is actually connected to Pisces, so it has that quality of being very innocent, like a child. This can actually sometimes be a child. It can represent a child, but that attitude of having an open heart. But in some cases, it can be about gullibility, about, a sign that you trusted the wrong person, and now you have to deal with the consequences. Maybe it's getting a divorce to a con artist, somebody who took you for a ride, because, Leos are known for being generous, and that, unfortunately, it's sad to say, but that can attract a person who is a taker, who doesn't want to give of themselves. They just want to siphon off others. The higher message or the spiritual lesson in your particular situation is represented by the Five of Coins. This can be a card of lack consciousness. So even with love situations, it can be, the person puts up with nonsense because they're telling themselves something about there not being enough of something or someone. If I break up with this person, what if I don't have anyone around for the next year or 2 or 3? I don't want to be alone. There might not be another person who is out there for me, and so the person is willing to settle for less. The Five of Coins is also about being too immersed in the material that you miss the spiritual. So who knows? Maybe judgment means that in the future you date someone who has a spiritual practice or a path, or at least feels that they're on the spiritual path, rather than someone who might be more materialistic. Maybe there's that emphasis on the spiritual, like a spiritual partner that would be much more aligned with you at this point, and kind of prevent some of the things that may have occurred that you didn't really want to occur. What crosses you is a Sun card. Isn't that a neat depiction of the Sun card? Certainly different than what I've seen. I noticed they always have that eye there. So the Sun is your ruler, and it's all about, and it's funny because citrine is the crystal that they are associating it with, and citrine is, I'm not a crystal expert, but I think citrine is connected to the third chakra which is the power center, which is in the solar plexus, the abdominal region. And one of the things they say about this area is that when people feel disempowered, they get butterflies in the stomach. That's when we talk about our nerves acting up, and that's when the person feels like they're being intimidated or something is bothering them or worrying them. And it's usually something where somebody in authority, they feel dominated by that person. So, or some kind of situation like that, where they're afraid of exerting their power. Well, in this particular situation, the Sun card represents a lot of positive things like love, creativity, joy. When it's in a challenge position, actually, I did not necessarily draw this. I did not draw this as a reversed card, but I'm putting it in that kind of position because of the spread that I'm using. And what it, or that I created, obviously, but what it can mean is that there is the opportunity for joy or something positive that the Sun card represents, but perhaps it is still blocked by something else that is going on within yourself. So typically there will be some old message, some old tape, which I also think the Five of Pentacles could be indicative of, that is keeping you from fully understanding that the Judgment card is really working in your favor. So for instance, a person may file for divorce because their partner cheated on them. They really are doing so reluctantly. And then they even second guess themselves and say, well, gee, what if, or maybe they catch themselves before they do file for it because they just are afraid that they may never have an opportunity again to be in a relationship. And the Sun is your confidence. So maybe that is still something that you're healing from, and you have to give it time. What is coming in is the Moon card, and this is connected to our intuition. It's funny that they have the Moonstone for the Moon card, which is perfect, because this is also the Moonstone is really good for creativity, and Leo rules the house of creativity. Leos tend to be creative people, so the Sun card is connected to creativity as well. And I remember I think I wrote a novel that I self-published when I first started my business. I self-published a young adult novel a few months later that I'm currently revising. But the thing is that I was wearing a moonstone crystal for months, probably close to a year. And so it's really funny. I don't know how many people wear crystals, but I haven't worn one for a while. But I will find that sometimes, and the moonstone really isn't even supposed to be with my astrological makeup, but for some reason it really resonated at that time. And then all of a sudden, it seems like one day I'll like almost like rip it off because it's like I'm done with it, and I've never really worn it like that since, where I just wear it all the time. So in any case, I've, worn different crystals, of course, but not that one specifically. So if you are trying to tap into your creativity and you're having a writer's block, and that's what the Sun represents, or some kind of creative block, you might try wearing a moonstone and seeing how that works. But also, you have to tap into that subconscious. Maybe there's something that is, like that you need to kind of unearth in order to get things going. If there is some kind of if this has to do with something creative. Now, if this is about love and you sense that there is something going on, because the Moon card can mean that you sense, like if you are currently in a relationship with someone and maybe they're gaslighting you and you're questioning yourself, and that's what the Judgment card is about. You're actually questioning whether or not your perception is correct, because when people are being dishonest, sometimes they want to make you sound like you're crazy for even suspecting them, and you have to be able to have the confidence to see that they're actually doing this. And sometimes, it's really expecting a lot from people, because sometimes people don't want to see that truth. especially if you have like the moon in Pisces or hard angle between Venus and Neptune. You may just like in love be, or the square between the moon and Neptune, opposition, just wanting to see things that suit your fancy rather than necessarily the truth. The outcome is a King of Swords. Ultimately, you're going to have to really detach from a situation in the strongest way possible. Because if you don't, if you know, maybe you're dealing with something, even with the Page of Cups, you might be dealing, that has a Piscean tone to it, so you might be dealing with somebody who is a manipulator, a con artist, and they try to make you feel guilty, and because you might be an easy touch, a soft touch, it's very easy to do that for you, where you feel guilty, you feel like you're being selfish in some way, and not realizing that that person is doing whatever they can to get their needs met. They're not necessarily even, they don't necessarily even have the intention of changing. If you are dealing with someone and you're really frustrated with their behavior and you would like them to change, they may not, they may tell you what you want to hear, let's put it that way. And that could feel very confusing, because you really want to believe that they have changed. So that's going to be something for you to think about in the coming days, Leo. And that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.